ESPN 2, we are presented by Progressive Insurance. Michelle Smallman's football team, the Green Bay Packers, last year had up and down season at times.
Inconsistent.
Injuries with the quarterback at times. Questions around the team in terms of Jair Alexander and others as to how they were operating. And their head coach, Matt LaFleur, at a press conference discussed the idea of whether or not the quarterback, Jordan Love, has regressed.
I think it's funny. I think there's like a narrative out there that for whatever reason that he wasn't as productive as the year before. Well, I mean, he missed significant time. He missed the better of 3 games. Really, it was Indy, it was Tennessee. He went out in Jacksonville, and then he went out in Chicago. So, that's going to 3 games is a significant amount of time, and you're going to be you're not going to produce as much from a numbers perspective, but from what I've seen, and then also there was, let's be honest, I mean, when we talked about this, we did have a lot of drops last year, and so there was other circumstances that play into it. I think all in all, I think everybody's going to be better though.
All right, QB1, Jordan Love, did you regress last year? Did you take a step back?
What is a step back is what I'd ask, you know what I mean? Everybody has different opinions, things like that. You got to block that stuff out. So it's all about the goals of the team at the end of the day. I'd say we won more games than we did the year before. So that's why I ask people, what is a step back? So everybody has opinions, things like that. Try and block that out and just focus on doing me, being the best I can be, like I've talked about, and go forward. But at the end of the day, personal stats, things like that, that's all in the back. You got to focus on the goals of the team first and foremost.
All right, Smalls, your quarterback, your team. 15 games played, 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions last year. 11 wins total for the Packers.
2 more than the year prior.
2 more than the year before, 9-23. Did your quarterback regress last year?
So I think that the notion that Jordan Love regressed is based on the way he ended the season prior. And by that, I mean that final 8-game stretch. He had 18 touchdowns, 1 interception. And then we all remember they went into Dallas and absolutely destroyed the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs and went toe-to-toe with San Francisco. So based on the way that Jordan Love ended the season and into the playoffs, we all thought he could be in the MVP conversation next year. And that obviously didn't happen when after that first game, he sprained his MCL. And even when he came back, he was still dealing with the residue from that. So if you look at it, you could say, well, we expected him to be so much better and take this huge step forward the next year, and he didn't. And that's underwhelming. And they were 1 and done in the playoffs to the eventual Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. However, he did win 2 more games than he did the year prior, and he was battling that injury all season long, which really lent itself to that inconsistency that we saw. Does he need to be better next year? Absolutely, but I don't think it's cause to ring the alarms when it comes to a big Jordan Love regression last season.
I can't give him a pass on the inconsistency due to the injury in 2024 because of what I saw in 2023. It's an uncomfortable fact pattern for Jordan Love. Last year, he had 6 games with a passer rating below 90. Same thing the year before that in 2023. For context, league average when it comes to passer rating was 94 in 2024. There were 21 quarterbacks last season that averaged a passer rating north of 90. It's too inconsistent. Jordan Love doesn't show up for a third of the season, and that's across 2 years. When I'm paying a guy $55 million a year, that is problematic. He is set up for success. He's got the head coach. He's got the offensive line in front of him. The Green Bay Packers went out and spent a bunch of money on Josh Jacobs last year in the offseason, which is counter on a couple of different fronts for them, right? Number one, the Packers typically don't spend a lot of money in free agency, so there's that. But then also, NFL teams don't spend big when it comes to running backs, period. The Green Bay Packers bucked that trend because they got a quarterback that they believed in. This offseason, they went out and did something that they hadn't done in 20 years, which is draft a wide receiver in the first round. Last time they did that was Javon Walker in 2002. Long time ago. I played against Javon Walker in college. That's how long ago it was. So they have set this man up for success. Jordan Love needs to figure out how to be more of a steady hand for this team, because when you're paying a guy that kind of money, he's going to have to help the team overcome the adversity that it faces throughout the course of a 17-game regular season. And too often, Jordan Love wasn't the answer for him when other things were going wrong with the team.
When you graduate as a quarterback into the $50 million plus club, and there's a bunch of them, as we know. Jordan Love is one of them. Should we be grading you and evaluating you based on individual play or team success? And I know the obvious answer is both. I get that, but I'm saying like when we're narrowing it down in terms of what success looks like, because you've done something to graduate into the $50 million club.
Well, here's what I'll say. I think it's both, to answer your point, but it starts with individual productivity.
So the assumption is you're good enough to get to 50 plus. If you're then great, your team, because you play the most important position in all of sports by
you touch the ball more than anybody else.
You're in theory going to then lift your team with you. In theory. Right? I mean, there's a lot of campaigning for Joe Burrow's season last year, and the team wasn't necessarily lifted.
Yeah, but nobody questions whether or not Joe Burrow is a top 5 quarterback in the league.
That's right.
Nobody questions that because the individual productivity and the consistency that we've seen from Joe Burrow.
And he's been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, now Joe Burrow has routinely gotten out to slow starts on the season. We're talking about 2 or 3 games there, but we're not talking about 6 games.
Yeah.
And then if you want to couple in the 2 games that Jordan Love missed because of the hamstring injury, that's half the season where we've got uncertainty at the quarterback spot that we're paying $55 million a year to. Like in a hard salary cap sport, there's an opportunity cost that's associated with that. I'm paying you this money, so I can't give it to other people. So we need you to be the ultimate deodorant to mask the other areas of our team that stink. Yeah. And he hasn't done that consistently enough to justify what they've paid him. They haven't gotten the return on investment that they thought they would when they gave Jordan Love the contract. Now, still a hell of a lot of long runway for him. Like, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But Jordan Love needs to give us more. We got to get more from him than what we've seen in his first 2 seasons as a starter.
It's weird because everything both of you are saying is completely fair. Has he been Rodgers and Favre for them? Not yet. Do you regret the contract? No. And you still believe he can do all this. That's the unique part of it. Like there shouldn't be doubt. It's just maybe it's been a B plus and you thought it would be an A minus by now.
You know what's interesting? I think Jordan Love is much closer to Brett Favre than he is Aaron Rodgers.
Definitely.
There is a wide degree of variance in what you're going to get from him series to series, half to half, game to game.
Mm-hmm. That's
right. With Aaron Rodgers, he's been pretty consistent in terms of what he is. Throws a lot of touchdowns, don't throw picks. Not going to put the ball in harm's way. That's been Aaron Rodgers for 20 years in the NFL.
Yeah.
With Jordan Love, it's a lot of gunslinger. It's a lot of Brett Favre. He makes some throws that only a handful of quarterbacks in the NFL can make.
Right.
But he also made some bonehead, head-scratching mistakes. You go back and look at that Minnesota Vikings game in Lambeau Field, yuck. That is a disgusting game tape to watch. So, yeah, Jordan Love is a phenomenal talent. But when I keep talking about the talent, that means I can't talk about you and your individual productivity leading to your team doing high-level winning on a consistent basis.
Coming up, it is a Tuesday, which means a Power Rankings Tuesday with CC. But first, CC has this from ESPN Bet, which he already told you, even though part of his Rockies parlay won last night, stay away from the Rockies.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Just download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app, sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
This is Unsportsmanlike with Evan Canty and Michelle.
Michelle, if you went on a first date and someone was like, hey, we're going to go see monster trucks.
I'm busy.
More coming up.
Các bạn, bây giờ mình sẽ tiếp tục với các bạn làm móc khóa. Con làm để đoán trước mà. Làm thiếu để nhìn mình lên đây. Bọn Titi học kỳ với chị Lan Anh.